apprehensive about the no cruise shore leave. Am I going to be able to do that? My ears feel like they're going to fall off. Hey sailors, welcome back to Cruising as Crew. My name is Lucy and today we're going to be going through a few things that I'm quite trepidatious of when it comes to going back to working on cruise ships. But before we start, please press like and subscribe for more cruise ship content, and if you have any video suggestions or questions you can leave them in the comments down below, or you can DM me over on Instagram at Cruising as Crew. Just an FYI, if you do DM me on Facebook, I'm probably not going to reply, not because I don't love you, but I just don't use it. So if you do want to get in contact with me, then please use Instagram. But anyway, let's get into it. So, I may have a date to go back on Virgin Voyages, which I am so excited about. I mean, I've been home for like a year and a few months, so I'm just beyond excited to get back to work, to get back to my life working on a cruise ship, and also to document it for you guys. That's going to be a new adventure. I am so ready and excited and happy that this day is getting closer and closer and closer. However, it has been a long time since I've been on cruise ships, so there are things that I am feeling nervous about, which I think is normal. After speaking to other crew members who are going back on board, I'm not alone in feeling this way. So today I'm going to go through what I am nervous about, just so if you're nervous about these things, you know that you are not alone in feeling apprehensive about them. The first thing is quarantine. So all crew members, when they go back to their ships that they have to work on, they are going to have to quarantine for 1 to 2 weeks in a passenger cabin. Now, while that sounds amazing, I'm going to get paid to lie around in a passenger cabin for 2 weeks. Like, I think we all know from isolating and quarantining in 2020 that the novelty wears off pretty fast. And I think 1 week in quarantine, I just wouldn't be nervous about that because I'm pretty well practiced at it now. But 2 weeks in a cabin is going to be, I think, quite difficult. But I am looking at the positive. You know, I'm going to have a balcony, so I'll be able to get fresh air. I'm going to have a double bed. I'll have a TV. I'm going to have a nice chat. It's going to be like a beautiful cabin. If there's anywhere that I would want to quarantine, it would be in that cabin. But nevertheless, I am still going to be stuck in a room for 2 weeks. So I am a little bit nervous about that. I'm currently thinking of ways that I can keep myself busy during that time. I'm sure I'll be spending a lot of it talking to you guys, annoying you, telling you how I'm feeling while I'm on board. But yeah, it's going to be challenging because you can't even leave the room to get food. You know, your food is going to be delivered to you, which obviously makes sense. There would be no point in quarantining if you could leave 3 times a day to get your meals. But I am just aware that it's going to be a challenge, and I think by like day 8 or 9, I'm going to start going a little bit crazy. But I do know people who are in quarantine now, currently, and they've told me that it's fine because they're actually doing quite a lot of training while they're in quarantine, so they do have a lot of stuff to keep them busy and keep their minds active. So hopefully that is the case when I'm on board and I won't have time to get bored because, you know, no one likes to be bored. The second thing that I am anxious about is the amount of people. So let's not sugarcoat it. I have basically been in quarantine for a year and a bit. The most amount of people that I have spent time with is 6 at one time, and to be honest, that was a little bit overwhelming. I think this is going to be an apprehension that I get over quite quickly. I think once I'm on board, I'll be like, what was I worried about? And I'll just slip back into how I used to be. But while I'm still here at home talking to my camera alone, it is something that makes me quite nervous. And you know, the thought of doing seminars, I mean, my God, I used to do seminars to like 30-50 people, and I'm like, I have to talk to 30-50 people. I mean, I know I talk to you guys, but like, you're not here looking at me, you're on the other side of this lovely camera. Hello. But yeah, to have, you know, 30 to 50 people in an audience staring at you, it is a very different experience. And I am nervous about how I'm gonna handle that? Am I going to be able to do that? I'm sure I will. I'm sure I'll get over it, but it is something that I'm nervous about because that is such a huge part of my job. So yes, interacting with people. You know, the reality is never as bad as what you make it out to be, so I'm sure it will be fine. So, having to wear a mask at all times. Because I don't know about you, but if I go into a shop and I'm mooching around for 15 minutes, my ears feel like they're going to fall off. So I'm like, if I struggle to keep it on for like half an hour, how is it gonna be to have a mask on all day? I'm gonna like come off my contract like this. No, I think I've actually found a mask recently that ties around your head so it doesn't sit on your ears, and I think that's going to make it a lot easier. I mean, obviously I've got pretty used to wearing a mask, as we all have, but I haven't had to wear one at all times. Obviously I don't wear one when I'm at home, I don't wear one when I'm outside. The only time that I have to wear masks is when I'm in a shop or in a restaurant or something like that. In those scenarios, the maximum amount of time that I would have it on is for like 20 minutes. So yeah, to have to wear a mask at all times is going to be probably not as bad as I'm thinking it will be, but a challenge. I do think it's going to be a challenge. And you know what? I made a Q&A video a few weeks ago, and in that, one of the questions was, is there something that you have to wear at all times? And I said your name badge, and about like getting a spare name badge, because if you lose your name badge, you want to have a spare so you don't get in trouble for not having it on. What happens if you lose your mask or you misplace your mask? I mean, can you not leave your cabin? Like, it's going to be really interesting to see what the rules are when it comes to PPE. I would be lying if I said I wasn't a little apprehensive about the no cruise shore leave. Now, this isn't from a place of, I want to go on holiday and have fun in the ports. This is from a place of, the longest that I have been on a ship and not got off was a month when I did a crossing. And that was a lot. And the thought of not putting my feet on land for 6 months, that's a long time. And I think it's perfectly okay to be worried about this. There are some positions on board where it is quite normal that they don't get off for 2 to 3 months at a time. And that's great for them, because going back this time, it's not going to be that much different. However, my experience, and I know a lot of other people's experiences, was not like that. I got off almost every day. Maybe not all day every day, but at least an hour or two every other day. And sometimes I just went and sat in the terminal. Sometimes I didn't even leave the port. I just stood on land. So it's going to be a big adjustment, and it is one that I am more than willing to make. I mean, I'm going back with the knowledge that I won't be able to get off. It's absolutely fine, but it is okay to be apprehensive about not getting off a ship for 6 months. And once again, I'm sure it will be fine. You know, none of us can get off, so we're all going to be going through it together. It's going to be different. It is going to be, I'm sure there are going to be days where I'm really frustrated and I just want to get off and I can't. But it is what it is, and hopefully the world is going to get back to normal sooner rather than later, and crew will be able to get off at their leisure again. But I mean, we're just going to have to wait and see. So it's absolutely fine. I'm going back with the knowledge I can't get off. No problem with it. But I am nervous about it. And if you're nervous about it, that's fine. You are allowed to be. I'm nervous about the uncertainty of everything. So not just the cruise industry, but everything. I mean, yes, it's all going in the right direction and cruises look like they're coming back. But there is always that concern that I could go on board and things could take a few steps back. Maybe people are tested positive for COVID and we go into another lockdown. I think it's very unlikely with all the precautions that have been put in place by the cruise lines, and, you know, with vaccines rolling out and everything that's happening in the world, I do genuinely believe that we're on the home straight and it's going to be fine. I guess we just got to roll with the punches. There's no point worrying about it because I can't do anything about it. But it is, I'm not going to lie, it's something that I've thought about, and I'm like, okay, well, how am I going to cope if I have to quarantine or if we get sent home again? So I'm a little bit nervous about that, but that's probably kind of the least of my worries. But anyway, guys, I hope you have enjoyed this video. 5 things that I am nervous about. If you are going back on a cruise ship, or if you are joining a cruise ship for the first time, please let me know in the comments things that you are worried about so that I don't feel alone. Or you can DM me over on Instagram. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I will see you in the next video, guys. Bye.